Ladies and gentlemen, how is everyone doing? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. A nice little Monday live stream. Didn't quite make it before the US market opened, but that doesn't matter because we are here now, ready to go. Before we kick off this live stream, don't forget to smash that like button. Absolutely destroy the like button because we've had some pretty solid calls recently, and it's going to be a great live stream today. Market goes up, market goes down, doesn't matter. I will make money trading this market. You'll have to excuse me a little bit. It's a little bit early here, but make sure to destroy that like button. Let's get that going. And here we go. Let's kick things off. Let's kick things off as people join the live stream. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's jump right into it. So I have a couple of levels of interest for today's live stream. And guys, based on this price action, you can see that the trend is still very much in an uptrend, although we are losing that momentum. So there's one line in the sand that I believe the bulls really want to hold here. The reason why it's going to be important for the bulls to hold here is because if we end up losing this level for Bitcoin, it would suggest that Bitcoin can move significantly lower. I shared an update in my premium group yesterday, going over the fact that my base case is still the same for this bear market. I still firmly believe that Bitcoin can make a new low over the course of this year, but these things really do take time to develop. Now, is it going to stem from this rejection up here where Bitcoin effectively had that Clarity Act pump, we shorted it on the live stream, and the rest is history? Or can we get a bounce? I am willing today to at least speculate on a bounce, and I'll explain why. First, let's talk about the structure, the local price action, what we're seeing here, and why we could be getting a bounce, potentially from this zone. And to be perfectly clear, before I start talking about this, guys, I'm shorting Bitcoin quite aggressively. So I entered a scalp short. This was shared on the live stream, where I'm currently up around $18,500, and I've realized around 12.7K in profits. This was shared publicly and within my community. And I'm also shorting currently Bitcoin and Zcash, although I will say Zcash is holding up relatively well, all things considered. So these are swing trades. These ones I'm willing to hold on to a little bit longer. So now that we got that out of the way, and you guys know that my overall positioning in this market from a swing trading perspective has been short, I'm willing to speculate on a potential bounce. Now there's two zones where I would have triggered a long entry on Bitcoin. And that is if we would have gotten acceptance above these weekend lows. The reason I say this is because usually when Bitcoin has a significant move on the weekend, we see retraces, right? We see that basically we'll tap into a low or we'll make a high and then we'll reject immediately, or we'll pump immediately going into the new week to reclaim those levels that we tapped into on the weekend. This time around though, instead of reclaiming the dump, we just went right through it. And this talks about that first level, which is $77,600. You can see here that we managed early morning to get a wick to the upside, getting rejected from the weekend low. So that's not a good sign for the bulls. This is why I'm targeting a little bit lower to consider a scalp long in this market. So the level that I'd like to bring to your attention is approximately $76,000, which is currently $800 away for Bitcoin. And I'll explain why this is a significant level. First and foremost, you'll notice that we have this horizontal line, which is tied to the wick that we got on March 17th. I talked about this in yesterday's YouTube video. On the weekends, I try to provide some video updates because I know some of you don't have time to watch the live streams. And if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend you do so. It's doing quite well in terms of performance. Make sure to smash that like button on that video as well. It's my latest YouTube video. But we talked about tapping into potentially $76,000 as a potential scalp longing opportunity because of the following reasons. One, you can see what happened after we got this wick to the upside on March 17th. A major rejection, an $11,000 move to the downside, targeting 65K before we got the bounce from the value area low and the point of control of this range. So that's number one. It's a significant pivot in the market, and I wouldn't expect the bulls to give that up without a fight. Not only do we have that, but if we zoom out in this range, you can see that I have the volume profile of the entire range. And what you'll notice is this top line, if the chart will load, that would be lovely. I'll refresh one moment. This top yellow line here is the value area high of this entire range. So typically, the bulls would want to hold on to this if we are to see any kind of upside continuation. And you can see that it's currently sitting at around $76,300. So that's, within a $300 range. And even more importantly, arguably, of course, we have the bottom of the bull market support band, that 20-week simple moving average, which is found currently at around $75,800. So this zone is very, very significant in my opinion, and the bulls will really want to hold on to this. You can see how many confluence levels there are. But in bear markets, price can just nuke without holding on to support at these key levels. We know that the bulls had a lot of fun in this uptrend, and if we are to reject massively here, then maybe we just absolutely breach these levels. And the last thing I'd like to bring to your attention in terms of a potential bounce within this $1,000 range is taking a look at the anchored VWAP, not the one up here from all-time highs, because this was the confluence zone for a potential rejection, but rather the anchored VWAP from the pivot low where Bitcoin had that big thrust to the upside. And that's found currently just below $75,000. So this zone, and I get it, it's $1,000, just over $1,000 zone, is where the bulls would want to hold, in my opinion, of course. A lot of confluence, and on top of this, I want to add to the fact that finally, we are getting some more short liquidity in the market. So more locally, yes, there is some liquidity to the downside to be grabbed because on every move down, people seem to be just jumping into longs. However, if we zoom out a little bit more, on the 7-day time frame, there is now officially more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market. So we wiped out a lot of those longs. 30-day time frame, there's technically now more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market. And on the 90-day time frame, there's technically still more longs in this market. Now remember what I said. In a trending market, there can be more liquidity to either side and the price can continue in that direction. So in a bull market, there is typically more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market, and we can still continue that uptrend. However, in a bear market, the same thing is also true, but in reverse. So we can still have significant cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market, and we can continue going lower so long as people are willing to long. So just because this will likely at some point end up being higher than the longs, the short side likely being higher than the longs at some point is what I meant, it doesn't mean that we have to just reverse and Bitcoin will go higher. So the trending market is the most important thing that you need to pay attention to. So more locally, yes, it's still technically bullish. But the more we zoom out, the more you can see that this is continuation of bear market price action in the sense of us getting another relief rally to the upside. So I hope what I've explained here, this quick recap, makes a lot of sense. From a longing perspective, from a scalp longing perspective, and I need to make myself abundantly clear, my higher time frame analysis remains exactly the same. I still think that Bitcoin can be moving lower, and that's why I'm holding my swing shorts in this market. That's why I also entered my swing shorts before tapping into this major confluence zone that we discussed on the channel multiple times, simply because sometimes in bear markets, you don't get the price you want for a short entry. And so from a risk to reward perspective, and also for the sake of potentially just not wanting to miss that opportunity, that's why I went short sooner rather than later. So, and this is not the first time I went short. You guys have been tuning into the channel. I've been shorting Bitcoin since $123,000. Took all my profits off of this trade, played the long here from 83 up to like 97, and then went short. And you have the receipts on the channel. So now we're entering a key confluence zone. Let's see here. Let's see. This is significant. This is significant. So let's take a look at this. We have our levels. We have our levels. We just swept the low again. And now we have to see how the price action develops. I'm not going to be rushing into any trades. Can we get a bounce? It's possible, but guys, remember, the price can get very, very aggressive to the downside. There is a high probability that that happens after a potential bounce, in my opinion. But if we don't get the bounce, honestly, I don't really care, because I'm positioned accordingly to the downside. And I've been very vocal, and I've been sharing this with you time and time again on the channel. Yeah. So guys, as we watch this price action develop, if you haven't already, make sure to just smash that like button, because we're doing live streams regularly, and we're also doing tons of other content. I'm probably going to start publishing a lot more YouTube shorts, just trying to grow the channel. But I saw a comment on one of my most recent videos. I think it was from you, Purchase Media? Purchase Media. Yes, it was from you. So if we scroll down here, loving the content, bro, and I agree with what you said the other day. Selfishly, I hope your community stays relatively small too. Like, that's the thing, right? I am happy with the size of the YouTube audience. I'm happy with the growth, and obviously I want to see it grow. But sometimes if we point these things out in the market, you know, the bigger the audience, the more the market makers start paying attention to what you have to say. So let's see. Let's see how this price action develops. No triggers for me quite yet for a long. Still in my short from the live stream on Friday. Yeah, on Thursday. Sorry, with the whole Clarity Act. It was a brilliant trade. My invalidation was quite easy, in the sense of we just had to get 1 hour close above the 200-day moving average, which I'm not sure if you can see here. Apologies if the chart is a little bit dark. Maybe I can adjust this for you. This dark blue line, let's make it let's make it like a bit brighter. Yeah, we'll do that. But no reclaim of the 200-day moving average. So now we see, can the bears really push this down? Is there going to be continued spot selling, or can we find a bounce? I'd be shocked if we just go down in a straight line. But obviously for my shorts, I'm more than happy for that to be the case if it is to occur. Hello, everyone. Hello. Let's go through some comments. Morning, my bro. I jumped into a long. I thought it was a paper chase media. Yep, it was. T4 purchase media. Like the video twice from two different accounts. I got you, LMAO. Nice, man. Appreciate it. Poor Meep does not short. Is that a limit order at 76K? No, I don't have, Nick Tooney, I don't have any orders open aside from this one here. You can see it's a stop loss at break even. This was the trade that we took on stream, the short trade. Guys, I'm not super eager to jump into a trade if I don't need to, right? I will look for trades as always, but for my own trading strategy, you're not going to see me jumping into a trade if I don't think it's a good opportunity. My first attempt will probably be a sweep of the value area high. Value area high. If we get that, might consider it. But then we're talking about the bottom of the bull market support band and this pivot. So in my opinion, it would make sense to sweep these levels before I really consider it. Yeah, this time it feels like the dump won't be that brutal as the previous one. Yeah, it kind of feels like that, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Crazies of the road. Do we know when Michael Saylor is buying some more Bitcoin? Yeah, let's see. We know that his next ex-dividend date is literally June 15th. So from the stretch side of things, it's probably not going to be for a while. I like, if you guys like a little bit of trolling content, I troll a little bit on Twitter. It's fun. At the end of the day, he posted this. Strategy has acquired around 25,000 Bitcoins for $2 billion at an average price of $81,000 per Bitcoin in typical Michael Saylor fashion. Nice entry, sir. Thank you for your service. Michael Saylor is currently up a whopping 1.57% on his Bitcoin investments. I know he's in it for the long term. I'm just trolling, guys, but seriously, he buys the local tops like you would not believe. And it's astonishing to me. It's astonishing. Imagine having this much capital and just continuously buying the local tops. I don't think that this guy can buy us out of a bear market. And so while we're talking about these levels that I'd like for us to sweep, and let's keep our eye on the liquidity heat map as well, because, there's some longs jumping in here. 1 day time frame. Let's see. We got this cluster. Like for me, best case here, best case for my long's sake would be a sweep all the way down to just a sub 75. Like a tap into that anchored VWAP from the pivot low, because that would literally grab all of this liquidity. It would hit all of the Confluence levels. And honestly, like I'm saying it here on stream, and it's for my community as well. I said, I'm willing to risk capital here. It's all about risk to reward. And from a risk to reward perspective, we come down there. I'm willing to do it. It would be a small trade, as I say. My swing trades, my swing shorts are much larger in this market, but I'm happy to take a trade if I see an opportunity to do so. Yeah, that's fair. The real PG777. To be fair, Saylor also said, I'm buying the tops forever, and he can. Yeah, so it's not outside his plan. Valid. He has publicly said that. But I just don't like the fact that he's publicly said to never sell your Bitcoin. And now, he's going back on that. I'm sure the shareholders are happy about that, but I don't know. There's always this kind of narrative that can fuel the next leg to the downside in a bear market. And maybe the narrative that fuels us potentially lower is Saylor is selling his Bitcoin. Guys, as we get more and more people joining the stream, I do have to let you know that everything that I discuss is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. So I'm simply waiting. Positive before tapping into these levels would be a reclaim of the 77.6K level because this would mean we're getting acceptance above that weekend low. But we tried it this morning. We tried it and we couldn't even get that 1 hour close above the level, rejected perfectly. These levels matter. Look at the rejection there. It's almost a perfect rejection. So let's see. This is not financial advice. We are all just gambling. I don't know about you, my friend, but I'm not gambling. I am not gambling. Trading is a probabilistic game, and the sooner that everyone can accept that, the better. I've been shorting Bitcoin over the course of this bear market. I also longed it on the previous big relief rally, and now I'm pretty comfy, let's say. I also hold spot Bitcoin, so there's that to consider. Guys, I hope you guys aren't watching my live streams to gamble. That's not the point of my live streams. Not at all. Probability plus risk management. Exactly. I'm seeing some new faces joining the chat, which is always nice to see. I'm seeing some familiar faces. Guys, all of the trades that you're seeing here on the channel, my shorts, and when I potentially decide to go long within my community, before I come on the YouTube channel, you can find all of those trades for free within my community. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you're able to join my private group. It is free simply because you're trading with your own capital on any of these exchanges down below. Whatever one works for you, you can use. I use them all, otherwise I wouldn't be promoting them. But my go-to has been Bluffin for quite some time, and I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. But that's where you can find my trades ahead of time before I film my YouTube content. Darren Mitchell, great work as always. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. I'm Fats with some laughing emojis. You and Crypto India, almost same analysis. Both are best. I'm not sure who Crypto India is, but sweet. Risk return ratio. That I would beg to differ, JS Toji. The reason I say this is because I actually, as you guys know, I do have a place in Dubai, right? And I'm operating out of there very often. I know some traders out of Dubai that literally trade a 1-to-1 risk to reward, which basically means, if you didn't know, you're risking 1-to-1. So if price goes down, you lose. Price goes up, you win. Like the same. I know some guys that do that, and they are some of the most profitable traders that I know. So there's this narrative. I don't want to call it a narrative. There's this guideline online that it always has to be targeting 2-for-1 risk to reward, 3-for-1 risk to reward, 4-for-1 risk to reward. And I get it. You want it to make sense for you to enter the trade. But if you really do have a system in place, you can actually be a profitable trader doing 1-to-1 risk to reward. I personally target more than 1-for-1, but just thought I'd share that as well. It's not an absolute necessity. Do we think we hit 81K first or 69K? I'm sure if I put a poll, Dan Nels 15. So the two coins that I'm trading, like these positions, sorry if it's not showing, but it's Bitcoin and Zcash. These are trades that I've literally just been holding for quite some time. Yeah, Bitcoin and Zcash. But guys, remember, if you see a trade that I have on the channel and it's up already significantly, it's not a signal for you to just go and copy the same trade, because you can't. The price has already moved in a given direction, whether it's long or short. So you risk getting a horrible entry if I come on the YouTube channel, I share a trade, and it's already being executed. If you want the real-time trades, you know where to find me for free. What are your thoughts on relatively equal highs around the 200 MA? Usually they like to sweep all that liquidity, and tops don't usually happen like that. Look at 98K. Da Vinci 7689. Valid concern, because this triple topping is pretty damn interesting, like I have to say. And we discussed the fact that in bear markets, you don't have to tap into the 200-day moving average. You can reject right before it. And I kept on eyeing this. And actually, on this Clarity Act move, although I did enter a short at around $81,500, a new short, I was willing to accept a loss on that trade because we had quite a lot of liquidity built up to $83,000. And I thought that they were going to go and grab that liquidity. All I'm really going to say is if we get that confirmation below this anchored VWAP at around $75,000, I think that we can already start talking about the low 70Ks, potentially down, reversing all the way down to the point of control and the value area low. So that's between 65K up to 67K. And then I find it hard to believe that a bounce would occur. Remember how aggressive the price action can get. I don't want anyone to be confused. While I am still looking for a potential long here, and there's a chance that if we come back in this region, I take the trade on stream with probably 0.5% of my trading portfolio or even less for the streaming purposes. We can dump significantly because the local structure from a weekly time frame perspective is just, it's, excuse my language, it's ugly as fuck. Ugly as fuck. Look at this weekly candle. Everyone was getting excited about this 82K move. Great close right below the 200-day moving average, and you're hoping that we get that move to the upside. But now, you know, on this move, everyone got extremely convinced that, hey, Bitcoin is back, and we're going to hit $100,000. We're going to $90,000 before 60K, or we're never going to hit 60K again. My base case, as you know, is that we will likely hit $60,000 again. But I'm looking to play the bounces along the way if we are to get them. Very ugly weekly candle. Acceptance below the bull market support band and the 76K area to me would suggest that we can already move aggressively. Remember what happened last time we got an ugly weekly candle like this in recent times. There's a chance that we get that impulsive move to the downside. So let's see, because if that comes this week, this would be the candle. And it would bring us all the way down to like here, to the low 70s. Then we have a capitulation wick. So let's see, guys. Let's see. We are losing 76K. Oh, yeah, absolutely, with the tech stocks leading us down, guys. Okay, so we're just about tapping into the value area high. Let's see if we get a good reaction here. With tech stocks leading us down, this is the overall analysis outside of what we're currently seeing on the Bitcoin price action. If we take a look at the charts, I discussed this in my last video and across many live streams, guys. If the stock market dumps, which we're seeing a little bit of a correction here, a tiny correction in the stock market or a leg down in the stock market is going to be horrible for Bitcoin. Horrible. Don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. This is just stocks, S&P 500, looking like we're a little bit of dumpy price action here. Naturally, this does not bode over well for Bitcoin. And if the NASDAQ, I mean, wow, these are tech stocks, right? So if we start dumping, this is not going to bode over well for Bitcoin. I'm telling you guys, I'm calling it live. So while I am looking for a bounce for Bitcoin, if stocks just completely capitulate, you can rest assured that I am not risking a lot on a Bitcoin long. I am comfy in my shorts. It's been a long time since I've said that. Buckle up, boys. Bonds moving up again after a bullish retest. Speaking of a bullish retest, guys, taking a look at stable coin dominance, we managed to get the weekly close back above the bull market support band. This is inversely correlated to the crypto market. This is not good. We're holding support, and this is where we could produce that next big leg to the upside for stablecoin dominance, coinciding with Bitcoin making lower lows. These things take time to play out, but maybe it won't take as much time as I'm expecting. Yes, sir. Comfy in shorts. And also, I'm going to make another observation. Right now, this is the weekly chart. If we take a look at the monthly, I'm not sure who else pointed this out, but rarely, or if ever, in a bear market, do we get 2 green monthly candles in a row. Sorry, 3. 3 green monthly candles in a row. Can't remember when we got that. You can see here that on this relief rally for Bitcoin, in that previous bear market that we've constantly discussed, from the low to the high, it was about a 46% rally. But look what happened afterwards. We did not get a 3rd monthly green candle. So, what does that mean? Well, I just remove this line. Look at that wick. This could be it. This monthly candle could be red for Bitcoin. So there's something, so you definitely have to consider that. We go back to previous bear markets. I'm just going to put that line back because I wanted to talk about the Fed chair transition as well again. You can see no consecutive, there were no 3. Now I'm getting distracted. My phone's going off. We did not get 3 green candles in a row. In fact, we didn't even get 2. This one, check it out again. Big candle, boom. So, in my opinion, the probabilities still favor lower. And if you're new to the stream or you're just tuning in now, guys, please do not forget to absolutely destroy that like button. Currently, we're sitting at around 110 likes, which is great. A great start to the live stream. And let's smash it even more. So, let me just take a look. Okay, so we did sweep. We did get a nice sweep here. So this was the first area that I was looking for a potential long. Now let's see how this price action develops. For me, if I see that the stock market starts dropping, I mean, I'm not interested in this, but I want to see some retests of the bull market support band. Yeah, the wick on the monthly is pretty ugly. All right. So you can see here I am shorting Bitcoin. This swing trade is currently up around 60K, but I'm looking to ideally make $500,000 in profit. I'd be really content with that. I talked about it in the group as well. And then we'll see. Depends how aggressive the push down gets, but this one will be nice. If you want to trade on this platform or any platform that you're seeing me discuss my trades, you got that first link in the description down below to join my group, but you also have the second link on Bluffin where you can earn up to $50,000 in withdrawable bonuses. Yes, they're withdrawable bonuses. Obviously, it's depending on the volume, but if you are a relatively big trader, it is actually achievable. So if you're a smaller trader, you do have great bonuses as well. $20 position voucher and up to $1,000 in deposit bonus. Let's see. What's the current value of the bull market support band? So the current value stems from $75,743 up to around $78,600. So I want to see us grab this. We have this wick down here. I would love to see this. I think my first attempt, Legends, would be like here. I want to see something like this. I don't feel quite confident yet in jumping in right at the value area high, even though it's a strong level, because we have the wick below us, which was the pivot that sent Bitcoin lower. So I'm kind of just eyeing that. But remember, the price action to the downside can get very, very aggressive. Let's go through some comments, see how everyone is doing. If you ran a pitchfork on the 60 to 82K range, we just fell under the first quarter line heading to the heart line, it seems. Pitchfork, I think there was one guy that talks about pitchforks often. I think his name is like Cobra Trader or something like that. So ladder it, bro. I don't think I would want to ladder longs, to be honest. Not comfortable doing that in a bear market. In a bear market, I ladder shorts, not longs. Can you briefly explain what reaction to look for to enter? Can you briefly explain what reaction you look for to enter this long? Well, the reaction that I typically look for when it comes for scalps is a drop below the level and then a reclaim. So one would argue right now that this was already a potential scenario, waiting for the next 2 minutes to close here. So we dropped below the value area high, which is found right at around 76.2-ish. Then you can see that we're closing the candle back above, showing signs of exhaustion. So if we close above here, this could have been a potential trigger, but I at least want to see us sweep 76. That's what I would like to see at least. Not only because there's liquidity, but because it coincides with the pivot that we highlighted. But for those of you that are big risk takers, I mean, longing at the value area high here is a possibility, which we've already just swept. We've swept it just now. If you believe in higher, but I want this wick. Give me that wick, and I'm happy to consider it. You, Cobra, and Camel Finance. Awesome, man. Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about these guys. Were you looking to add more to your swing short? Yahi Music, I'm probably not going to add to my swing short. If price just continues to dump massively, I don't necessarily add to swing shorts. You can see that my position is already it's a pretty big position, through just under 3% of my trading portfolio. And I already have short exposure with Zcash. I also have a Scalp short that I shared on the live stream, which is currently up just over 20K. Pretty epic that we shared this live. So from my own perspective, given how I manage my own money, I don't need to add to my position, because if we are to really trend aggressively lower, I'm probably just going to stay in these trades. I'm content. Is this Bluffin that you're open right now? Yep. So on Bluffin, I have most of my trades open. Bluffin is my go-to crypto exchange. I trust them. I mean, why is this down here? If I grab this up, you could see that there's just under, I don't know if you guys could see this. Some of you guys told me not to talk about money, and I try not to like flex unless you guys really want me to, because I know there's some YouTubers that do that. But I do trust them with a good amount of capital. So I don't know if my word counts for that, but I trust them as an exchange. I really like them. Obviously, they have great bonuses that I'm promoting, but I do trust them with my capital. That's the second link in my description down below if it interests you, and you get the best fees and best bonuses with my link, especially if you are a big trader. I would highly recommend them. But I also like 2bit, and on my Scalp short that I entered on stream, I like Weeks as well, which is one of the last ones in the description, where you get 25% off all your trading fees. All right, guys. So Bitcoin is kind of dumping here. Give me a sweep. Give me a sweep and I'll consider. Well, that's the thing. that's the thing, right? Uh, the real PG 777. That's what I thought as well. Like, the reason I show my trades in the way that I do is because I think that if people see that I'm actually trading in that way with capital, so whether I'm right or wrong, I win or lose money, it builds trust, right? And that's the most important thing for me. I have a community which is completely free, which I've shared with you guys time and time again. If you click this link, you get access to it. CBM on Telegram. You just message that keyword and you'll get options to be able to join for free. But I share the P&L wins and losses on my trades. I don't only share the percentage because I find like there's a lot of people in the crypto industry that what they'll do is they'll share a P&L and it'll say like 1,000%, but they don't actually show the capital that they're trading with. And so it's frustrating because you see 1,000% and people get really excited and they end up getting a lot of followers and a lot of engagement for something like this. But they could be trading with literally $5 at 1,000x leverage. And it makes it seem like, oh, wow, this guy's just some great trader, but it's just not the case. A lot of scammers, unfortunately. I love it when you are transparent with your money. I will continue being transparent. Thank you. Right, I make $1,000 every day. Yeah, exactly. The real PG. I make $1,000 every day, but I used $100. I mean, even that would be pretty good. 1,000% every day, but used $100. It's more like 1,000% opening up a bunch of orders with $2 and then sharing it when the final outcome arrives. Imagine doing 50x, 100x with 6 figures. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I don't really do that. You could see my Zcash. I guess the screen is cropped out a little bit, but my Zcash short, I'm using only 3x. My Bitcoin short, I'm using 15x, but I am using cross margin. And this Bitcoin short, I'm doing 30x, but my stop loss is at break even. So I literally can't lose any capital on this trade. I've already taken around 12K from that trade. And again, this was shared within my group and on the live stream. Let's see. I want to see signs of price slowing down, right? Give me a big wick to the downside. Then you'll get my interest. Right now, it's just a slow trending. I don't, I'm in my shorts. I'm comfy. So some of you guys were asking if we are to get a bounce, what would happen? Like, what would this look like? And we can use historical price action to guide us. Usually with these kinds of bounces, if we are to get it, of course, it's a big if at this point, what happens is you end up either creating a higher high and then dumping in the bear market, or you create a lower high. So let's take a look at historical price action. In the last bear market, what happened is Bitcoin reclaimed its bull market support band, and then we had a move almost touching that 200-day moving average, not quite, and then rejecting. This is also one of the many reasons why I went short before tapping into it, because I was expecting a potential rejection before hitting the massive confluence zone. Then you come back down, and this doesn't look like much on the one-day chart, but you come back down from here to the low. That's an 8% drop. Now for perspective, if we zoom out here, so far, all right, I should take the more recent high up here. This is about an 8% drop. So it's starting to look interesting. So what happens is then you tap into the level and you get a nice bounce. Again, it doesn't look like much, but from the bottom of the bull market support band to the upside here, about another 8% bounce, which ultimately created a lower high, and then we bled lower, and that was all she wrote. That was the last leg starting to the downside. If we go back and take a look at, let's look at 2018. Pretty similar scenario here, where you can see that we pump up, get rejected right before the 200-day moving average, come back down a little bit below the bull market support band, which is why I highlighted these levels as well, a little bit below the bull market support band. And then you got another, where is it? Right here. Then you got another bounce, creating a higher high before rejecting. In my opinion, based on what we're seeing, if we are to get a bounce from here, we will reject whether or not we create a higher high or a lower high. Now, if people just start aggressively jumping into shorts, and I mean like we just see a ridiculous amount of shorts entering the market, which we haven't hit that stage quite yet, then that would make the case for a higher high, grabbing the upside liquidity, and then likely moving lower. But my base case remains exactly the same. So I hope that makes sense. Ton serve. Yeah, 100%, man. And I remember you asking about this in one of my other live streams. I recognize your name, right? I wanted to, and I talked about it, guys. I really tried my best to talk about it. We have the massive, massive, massive confluence zone. Super critical. Yellow line here, the point of control of the tariff lows where Bitcoin went higher. We have this line over here, which is one of the previous lows that we had to reclaim. We have the 200-day moving average, and we also have the anchored VWAP from all-time high, which constantly drops because price is currently below it. This was the zone. So many people talking about shorts. I'm going to short when we pump up to mid 85K, mid 85K, mid 85K. And so, although there were a lot of people that were bearish, I will admit, I wanted to go short beforehand simply because I'm aware of the possibility that we just don't tap into that confluence zone. If everyone's eyeing a level, and we are in a bearish trend overall on the weekly time frames, that is, sometimes we simply do not tap into the level. Hence why I've been holding these shorts. So I can't tell you with a good amount of certainty whether or not we're going to sweep the highs and hit this confluence zone. There's some liquidity building up, which we discussed. But, you know, I think it's the beginning of the downtrend, even if we are to have another little short squeeze, because guys, even like the more you zoom out, the more you realize on the 90-day time frame, there is still more liquidity to the downside to be grabbed, right? Sema Jury, do you ever use fib levels? Yep, absolutely I do. And actually, this is one of the other things that I want to discuss with this confluence zone. For those of you that do use fib levels, you know, normally we get rejected at the golden pocket, and we touched on this from this pivot high, which is where we shorted the first time around, to the lows. What do you notice? The golden pocket, these two yellow lines, right in between, right in that confluence zone. So you couldn't have had a better potential rejection point. So many indicators lining up for us potentially hitting the level, but sometimes the market makers don't give you the levels that you want. And although there were a lot of people bearish, a lot of people were waiting for higher before shorting. And now it's kind of like you're in a dilemma where Bitcoin could potentially bounce. And so it's not the wisest thing to jump into a short here, you know? I don't want to say the move has been missed, but it makes more sense to wait for a bounce, in my opinion, of course. Not financial advice. You can do whatever you want with your money. I'm just sharing with you what I am personally doing. Dude, buy volume is hella weak. Oh man, don't get me started. That was another confluence as to why I thought we would dump. Zoom out on the weekly time frame, guys. Like really, really zoom out. A lot of people are so obsessed with the 5 minutes and the 15-minute charts. But guys, look at this. Look at this. From the low, declining volume on a pump is not something that's typically a good thing, right? A little ground invasion will accelerate the next move down. Honestly, I don't even know at this point. It doesn't matter. A little ground invasion might send the stock market higher. It doesn't seem to matter. Yeah. Saylor was keeping it propped up. We discussed this as well. Saylor and his army of just trying his best to buy. Correct. Wait for the bounce and enter the short, risk and stress-free. I wouldn't say stress-free because sometimes these bounces can catch you off guard. Like I said, sometimes the bounces can make even a higher high. I don't want to discredit that potential possibility. But from a probabilistic perspective, I think that we head lower after a potential bounce. Some of you are saying there is a CME gap around 84. Some of you are, yeah, and that's the, Tanish, that's another confluence to add to the major confluence zone. CME gap up to 84K. Like I said, how much more confluence do you need? The market makers know that this is the area that everyone's eyeing for a short, so why not just send it lower beforehand? Are we really going to give retail free money? No. Do you think Bitcoin will dip to 41K? Guys, 41K is significant. Now, I will say that the terminal, this terminal chart suggests that the balance price for Bitcoin is actually below 40K. And in bear markets, we have historically tapped into the balanced and the realized price of Bitcoin. So that would be 52K and 39K. Now, how do you play this? Because some of you have said, well, I'm just going to wait for 20K and then I'm going to buy. Guys, if you believe in the asset class long-term, you cannot have a strategy like that, because what happens if we don't hit the level? What happens if we don't hit the level? That's why I always am vocal about still having some exposure in the industry as I try to attempt buying near those bear market bottoms. But you have to give yourself a range, right? Last bear market, I bought the majority of my Bitcoin between $15,000 and $30,000, which put me in a very good position for this bull market that just ended in October. So you have to give yourself a range and you have to understand what the possibilities are. You always want to have dry powder in case we just capitulate, especially if you believe in the asset class long term. Some of you are strictly traders and you don't actually believe in Bitcoin, and that's totally fine as well. I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel if I didn't believe in Bitcoin. But all I'm going to say is you'll be shocked at how low it can go. And if everyone expects a level, we either front run the level or we go way below the level. Adam Thomas, in my personal opinion, this is not financial advice for the moderators that are listening. In my personal opinion, Bitcoin will not hit $25,000. In my personal opinion. Trump is threatening Iran again. Okay. 39K was a 786 fib level. Where do you suggest is more likely bottom zone? I shared this before, guys, and it takes time for these things to play out, and things would be great if it played out perfectly. But let me show you. Let me show you. Let's do a bit of zooming out here. Guys, if you're enjoying the content so far, don't forget to leave a like. Smash that like button. It really helps the channel out. We're at 164 likes. I would really appreciate if we can get to 200 likes ASAP. I think the live streams are catching on. I think you guys are really enjoying the live streams. So I'm going to keep on doing them because it's clear it's what you guys want. But I'll still do those video updates because some people don't have time for the live stream. So I'll do both. But make sure to smash that like button if you're enjoying the content. Okay, so let's take a look at. Okay, we're kind of 1 second. Yeah, see, the second that tech stocks struggled just a little bit, oof. Let's see, guys. Live streams are goated. Thank you, Purchase Media. I'm glad you think they're goated because they take a lot of time and effort. So happy about that. Never underestimate the 4-year cycle. Wow, Bitcoin. Okay. Wow. The shorts are printing, baby. The shorts are printing. I kind of just want to give me a sec, guys. I just want to watch this briefly. Just give me a sec. Just because I'll go over the buy zones in a bit. It'll happen. It will happen. Pretty bold and risky strategy. I could have just closed my short completely, but let's see. What's going on, legends? Guys, like it's not a positive sign. I get these notifications from CoinGlass sometimes when I'm on the live stream on my phone, and it just says, a bunch of notifications. 600 Bitcoins transferred from unknown wallet to Coinbase wallet. 800 Bitcoins transferred from unknown wallet to Coinbase wallet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of Bitcoin is getting transferred to the Coinbase wallets. Now, let's see. Guys, tell me if we breach. Gregor is going to tell me to set a notification. But just tell me if we breach 76K, please. I'm going to... Actually, no, sorry. I'm just going to wait. I want to see how this develops. ETH. I'm not going to read that on the stream, Sultan Sal. Loving the stream. Thank you very much. So do you see a bounce? Are we printing or what? Yeah, we're printing on the shorts. But I'm looking for a potential bounce. Again, to make it abundantly clear, if we don't bounce, I could not care less because I'm making a lot of guap on the way down. You look too excited for 76K. I mean, I'm not 76. I mean, it's looking... Give me a sweep again, guys. Sweep and reclaim, but this is just a... My gosh. I'm sorry, legends. Like, if this just continues, you know the rule. Sweep and reclaim. Sweep and reclaim. If we just dump from here, sitting in my shorts, relaxing. If we cannot reclaim the level, we We got about 50 minutes until the 4-hour candle close. So let's see. Good price action today, to be honest. Yeah, 100%. It is great price action today. Guys, all of the trades that you're seeing on the channel, Zcash short, Bitcoin short, my Bitcoin Scalp short, everything is shared within my community. You know where to find me. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join my private group. It's where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. It is free. You're trading with your own money. Just going to grab some water. I don't mind being called a legend. You are a legend. US rejects yet another peace proposal from Iran. Yeah, so that's pretty significant. If we take a look at our man Walter, what's Walter saying? So U.S. rejects latest Iranian peace proposal ahead of Situation Room meeting on Tuesday. So there's going to be a big meeting going on and speculation on some more attacks. Let's see, guys. No wick, no long. Ganesh, it's not the wick necessarily. It's the sweep and reclaim, right? So yeah, that does create a wick, but that's, you want to see it drop. Why is it? I can't even draw. Let me remove the magnet. So the idea here is you would like to see drop, reclaim. But this is the thing with bear markets, right? It's so important, in my opinion at least, and in my own experience, to be positioned from a swing trading perspective as well, because what happens is when price starts slowing down, we look for these speculative bounces. That's the game. That's the nature of trading. But the price doesn't have to bounce, right? And so I'm not, like I said, I could not care less if we don't bounce. Do I want to get a live trade on the stream? Absolutely. But you know me, I don't take trades just for the sake of taking trades. I know there's some streamers that do that nonsense, but that's just gambling in my opinion. I'm just waiting to see how the price action develops before justifying a potential trade. Sesh Monkey, I hope we get a bounce. I completely closed my Bitcoin short. Oof. Harshit, I would highly recommend that you watch earlier in the stream. The idea for a potential speculative bounce is here. This zone, this overall zone down to around $75,000. If the bulls lose these levels and the bears can just push the price down with unlimited selling pressure as it seems, then to me that would suggest that we're already ready to head much lower. And guys, the main thing is if the tech stocks just continue to jump, we're cooked. We're cooked. We're cooked for Bitcoin. But we're also cooking to the downside. Oh. See a little bit of buying here. But that's a horrific 4-hour candle if it closes like this. But like, here's the other thing I'll say. If we close above the value area high, it looks a little bit better for the bulls. So let's see. I still got my Tau short. Thank you. Guys, the Tau short that Luke Draco is referring to was shared in the premium group. I think I made 150K on that trade, just under, I believe. And then I got stopped out at break even on the move to the upside. It happens. There's always new trades. But if you want access to all of my trades, you know where to find me. It is completely free because you're just trading with your own capital. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group. It looks like this. Send a message, and I'll add you to the group. I might look for some alts to short. Hype and Zcash are also some great shorts right now. I am highly interested in Hype. Zcash is holding up relatively well. Guys, I've been holding this position for quite some time. And it's been positive, negative, positive, negative. And the Zcash bag holders are starting to make me believe in this a little bit more. Let's see. We did have a big dump to 485 on Zcash, but I entered this trade a while ago. This was shared in my group as well. Okay, so now that price is kind of just consolidating here. Let's take a look at the buy zones that I just discussed, or that I wanted to discuss. And this has been my bear market. Guys, I don't know if you remember, I talked about this months ago. Months ago. And this is it. This is what I am personally looking at. So keep in mind, this is based around my own personal strategy. And what this means is, because I do hold some Bitcoin, I am happy to be more patient with how aggressive I get. If I didn't hold any Bitcoin, I would probably be more aggressive if we are to make it back below $60,000. But these are ultimately my zones. So I would slowly start dollar cost averaging with around 15% of my cash stack ready to be allocated for Bitcoin, between 60 and call it 50K. Then if we are to make it below this capitulation wick, which occurred in the summer of 2024, to me, that's like aggressive buying, which is sub 50K, all the way down to sub 40K. Again, just because you see this on the chart, it doesn't have to happen. The market doesn't have to give you what you want. But from a probabilistic perspective, this is what I'm currently looking at. It sounds crazy, I know, but in this bear market, thus far, the lowest drop has been just over a 52% drop. In previous bear markets, we've seen further than 75% drops. The drops are getting less and less over time, but my expectation for this bear market is somewhere between a 60 to 70% drop, probably 60 to 65. Call it 60 to 65% drop. So a 60% drop would put Bitcoin down to below 50K approximately. And yeah, 65 would put it well within this range. So that's currently what I'm eyeing. I know it sounds absolutely ludicrous. If you're new to the crypto space, you probably think that it simply doesn't make sense. But I've lived through these markets, guys, and I've been devastated by them before. So I'm just telling you from experience, we can move a lot lower over the course of this year. I don't take joy in being a bear. I don't get joy out of being a bear, rather. But we're in a bear market, so it makes sense to be bearish. A wise man once said, there's nothing wrong with being macro bearish in a bear market and macro bullish in a bull market. That's that. And the same strategy that you guys are seeing me deploy in this bear market is the opposite of what will be deployed in the bull market. And that is, on higher time frame dumps in the bear market, I am going aggressively swing long. Right now, we get these higher time frame pumps while the market structure is still intact and still bearish on those higher time frames. it makes sense to start looking for shorts. That's how it goes. And that's exactly it, right? That's exactly it. I'm reading some comments. Darius, feels sketchy to long, too late to short. It's one of those, right? But if you guys tune into the stream, you know we took this short at around $81,500. Pretty happy with that. $5,000 of price action to the downside. Stairs up, elevator down. I'm actually going to take another 25. Yeah. Okay, I took another 25% profits on my scalp short there. My swing short remains the same. I'm just going to message the community and let everyone know. Lots of folks happy. Lots of folks happy with their 80K Bitcoin shorts. And that kind of concerns me in some way, because it's like, did we catch it? Did we catch the top? Or are we going to get that relief rally? That's what I'm kind of speculating on at this point in time. But guys, this is absolutely, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm saying. This is lovely price action for the live stream. If you're enjoying the live stream so far, and ideally you're printing on the shorts as well that we discussed time and time again, don't forget, guys, destroy that like button. We just made it to over 200 likes. I think this is going to be a pretty good live stream today. Chi-chan, my man, are you? Oh, we swept the level. We swept the level. I'm just going to take a little screenshot here. Okay. That's to share within the community. Guys, just because we got bearish news, it doesn't mean that's why the price is doing what it's doing. We were gonna experience some rejection irrespective of the news. Remember, stock market can continue to make all-time highs while Bitcoin dumps. I know it's not fair, but as I pointed out in my previous video, Bitcoin outperforms the stock market in a bull market. And therefore, it's okay to get more downside in a bear market. That's just the way it works. You can't get both sides. You get what I'm saying? And I expect the same thing to happen again. From bear market lows, because it's going to be so oversold, to bull market tops in the next cycle, I think Bitcoin will also outperform the stock market over that same time period. This is like, I know you guys want me to... Oh, my apologies. I didn't send the message in the private group. Shit. Let me send that now. Sorry, guys. Private group comes first. Always. Always. Especially, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys in the private group are watching this, but especially with my trade adjustments. from my active BTC. Doon, doon, doon. All right. Yay, 76K. I can quit my job now. Chi-chan. Hey, mate, have to say you've been more right than wrong. Should have listened to you. But anyways, I luckily opened lots of shorts last week. Chi-chan, my man. Yeah, you were bullish for quite some time, but I think you made I hope you made some decent gains on the uptrend because you were bullish for quite some time. So that's good. Ganesh, I mean, the new Fed chair has, it's not just the bond market, but you look at other factors, right? And inflation is still sticky. They cannot cut in this kind of environment. And we talked about this, right? You go all the way to January 2027. There's probabilities there where we get those rate hikes. Look, 55% chance of a rate hike, 44% chance of no change, 0.3% chance of ease. And the further out you go, I mean, a full summer, call it about a year from now, 75% chance we get rate hikes. So, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that Abood 5309. Please bulls give up. Let us finish this bear market. Bottomed early this June. That's the thing. I will point this out, guys. You know how we say history repeats, or sorry, history doesn't have to repeat, but it often rhymes? A lot of people are saying bear market low in October. If Bitcoin has a catastrophic drop, and I mean catastrophic, like to the sense where, by the end of June, we're sitting in the, let's say, 40Ks, which would be pretty crazy. I might pivot my stance and say, hey, like we've bottomed sooner. It's possible. I actually think that there's a probabilistic scenario there where we can bottom sooner, but it would require a catastrophic price action and not just like time-based capitulation. I closed, Legends, just to share with everyone, I closed some of my existing Bitcoin short. This is my Scalp Bitcoin short. My other account has a bigger swing short, but we're creating these wicks to the downside. Maybe we get a move up. AJ Bok Choi, can we get a spot buying and storing tutorial? Sure, no issues. I know you guys like to watch me for trading, but I have no issues with that. I rarely talk about spot portfolio, especially in this bear market, but happy to give a tutorial like that. Yep. I hope I opened along here. Let's see. You're brave. You're brave. I didn't I don't know, guys. This is like, this candle tells me more downside to come. We swept it, but right? Can we get relief? Can we get some relief? Yeah, we'll still get relief along the way. Of course. Do, do, do. Scalp. Holding up. Okay. All right. Since you're into stocks, did you play Biddy or do you? No, no. Stocks is very much just long-term investing from my perspective. Dude, this might bleed out until the end of June. Valid, guys. Valid. There's a chance that we have a couple of bounces and we just continue to bleed out until June. It's happened before in historical bear markets, right? It feels like a great day. It feels like a fantastic day to just smash up that like button. 234. There's 426 of you watching. Slap up that like button, legends. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes today. Guys, I you know, the 30-minute close, next 30 minutes is going to be important here. But if we just keep on going lower, I mean, I'm not going to go long. You know, I'm looking for a long. This is the zone, but I would be mesmerized if we don't have a bounce from this zone. Mesmerized. Um, what if Saylor comes out and he's the one that's been selling? Do you spot hold altcoins or only trade them? This past cycle, I only traded them. I knew that altcoins would severely underperform. And I'm not just speaking out of my ass. You can watch my older YouTube videos. I was pretty vocal about altcoins just continuing to give these diminishing returns against Bitcoin. Hey, Matt, you almost have 400K market. Dude, get in. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. Guys, if price just keeps nuking, I have to stay on the live stream indefinitely. Remember, guys, ridiculous bonuses on Bluffin. You can earn up to $50,000 in withdrawable bonuses. It's where I trade my crypto. Second link in the description down below. And if you're looking for other exchanges, we have Weeks, we have Velto, we have 2bit, BTCC, some great promotions across the board. Weeks also gives you 25% off all of your trading fees with my link. You get that VIP2 upgrade. I would expect the bulls to hold around here, but if they don't, Sema Jerry, what about altcoins this bull market? Altcoins are gambling. Bitcoin is investing, altcoins are gambling. So if you hear me talk about an altcoin, it's going to be rare, but there are some like hype that I think could perform well in the next bull market. It's Will Anderson. I'm not sure if you're actually trading on Weeks or Bluffin, but I can, just to be perfectly clear with everyone here, I have a partnership with Bluffin, and I can give you guys the best fees across all on Bluffin. So they're my best exchange that I offer. So yeah, you can get the bonuses on Weeks and the reduced fees, but I would recommend Bluffin as the #1. I would only really use the other ones if you can't use Bluffin. 2bit's also a solid option. Are you shorting hype? No, I'm not shorting hype. Yeah, some questions are pretty interesting. Like some of the comments that I get on the live stream, it's like, well, not on the live stream, on one of my videos, it's like, hey man, and the guy's like, he seems genuinely angry. Why didn't you short ton? And he asked me this several times. And the answer is because I don't need to. Like, there's opportunities across the entire crypto industry. I'm not constantly paying attention to every single token in the crypto industry. Roth Trader, hi Matsir, hope you're doing great. Thank you. I'm doing wonderful on this Monday. I hope you're doing great. I made an account with your Weeks referral, but never got fee discounts. When did you make the account? Because this promotion just came out. Hype will do very well. I think so too in the long term. Hype was the only green over the last weekend. I was watching for the drop is why I ask. Yeah. I think the thing with hype is I do think that it will experience a correction along with the broader crypto market. However, you can see here that there is an interest. The funding rate is negative, right? So there is an interest in shorting hype. There are people that are talking about the same thing that I just talked about. And so because of that, it makes me think that maybe we have some more squeezing to do before potentially dropping. But I do think that the outcome for hype is inevitable. And that is probably a drop further into the year. Great product though. And I again, it's a solid one for the long term. Yeah, Bitcoin is 80% of my trades as well. Because Bitcoin, especially in a bear market, Bitcoin determines the rest of the market, right? All right, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. I didn't enter a trade, but let's see. We swept the level. Was that it? Do you like anime, Matt? I don't really watch anime. I can't say um, that I like or dislike it. I just don't really watch it or read it. When Bitcoin reaches, what are your thoughts on ETH? Do you think it come down? Yes. What do you think about Zcash in short term? Yeah, it's interesting, eh? Like Zcash is it's holding up relatively well. I'm up around 23K on this trade, but it's like over the weekend it dumped to 485 and then immediately popped right back up. And Bitcoin is dumping, Zcash is kind of holding. So I am relatively impressed with how well it's been holding up, similar to how Hype has been holding up. So on relief rallies, usually what happens is these kinds of crypto assets perform better than the broader market. So that includes Hype and Zcash simply because they hold up better when we're dumping. You don't have to overcomplicate things. Yo, first time viewer here. Good job on the content. Very good information. Johan Hellberg, thank you very much. I appreciate it. How old are you? Everyone on the stream knows that I am 206 years old. I can't see it. Are you long or short on Zcash? I am shorting. All the trades that you're seeing here have been short. Short, 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 short. I am looking for a potential scalp long in this market. That's what I'm monitoring here on the live stream. What did I lost? Guys, little hack. If you join the live stream late and it feels like you missed a lot, what you can do is, and I do this, maybe I'm just a psychopath, but I will, like, if I want to watch a live stream and get content out of it, and see what the person is thinking, especially my friends like Andy and Devault from Mindpillar, I put the live stream on like 2 to 3x and I just go up to date up until when they're live. It happens pretty quickly. They didn't front run 76K really because we tapped into it. Could have swept lower, but now we see. I don't know. It's just like this kind of price action doesn't give you too much confidence in longing, but that's where the opportunity is found. It would be foolish to just jump into an aggressive short here, considering I'm already shorting on multiple exchanges. $76K is a significant level. Long support, short resistance. Sometimes it's as simple as that. I do think that we can get a bounce. I'm just not super inclined to pull the trigger yet. How did Strategy get 2 billion to buy Bitcoin this week? Aren't they supposed to use the raised money to clear some debt? Not sure. Maddie, Nico Soupy, my man, it's been a while. How are you doing, brother? My ultimate scenario here would have been sweeping all of this. But like I said, we swept 2 of the levels. We swept the value area high. And my next trigger is if we get acceptance back above the value area high. I think I might just bite the bullet on a small trade here. So like, let's see. Let's see. I'll let you know if I decide to take a live trade. But remember, my live trades are way smaller than the current positions that you see me in. So, yeah, Zcash is, man, it's holding up nice. Crazy, crazy strength. Also, I sent an update in my community, and I want this to be well documented here. Please don't mistake me looking for longs as a shift in my higher time frame analysis. Based on all the data that I have available, I still don't think that 60K was the bear market low. Time will tell. From a more local risk to reward perspective, however, looking for longs and potential bounce zones while holding my swing shorts makes sense. Shared that within the community. I want everyone on the stream to be well aware of that. If you're new tuning into the stream or you just come to see some of the live trades, I think that the market is ultimately headed lower over the course of this year, even if I'm looking for some scalp longs. Why don't you trade gold? I hold gold. Well, actually, the thing with Zcash, and someone pointed this out as well, is we tend to see a nice move to the downside before Bitcoin gets a nice move to the downside, and same thing with the upside. So some would say that Zcash dictates the market. No, not really, but it is interesting to consider that. So we got one 15-minute candle close back above the value area high. Is this enough for me to consider a long? I'd rather wait. But this is one piece of confirmation. So I'm not sure. You guys can do what you want with your own capital, as always. For me personally, based on this local market structure, I'd rather see another close, particularly because it will coincide with the 4-hour candle close. So I'm pretty careful about these things, especially if we're going into a higher time frame close like the 4-hour, which is in the next 14 minutes. Did you enter a long? No, I didn't. Not yet. Is Zcash belong to CZ? I don't think so. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. What is the best way to store crypto in a cold wallet? What is in Dubai, Matt? Ferrari, let me know. Let me know what exactly you're asking. I mean, what is in everything is in Dubai. Can you explain your analysis as to why altcoins underperformed this year and how you were able to catch that? Because I missed it and I lost a bunch of money. Cheese bubbles, 100%, guys. And the OGs on the channel will know exactly what I'm about to pull up. It's literally just a matter of monetary policy. So take a look at this. Ignore these lines. I just wanted to keep them there because that's the performance of every time we get a new Fed chair, which is basically just dropping nonstop. So if we take a look at this Bitcoin chart on the weekly, you'll notice that, oh, why am I using the Bitcoin chart? One moment. My apologies. My apologies. I should be using a different chart. Others? Yeah, let's do others. I need a better setup. Like my computer is so far away as I'm fiddling with this chart. So it's a matter of monetary policy. Serve got it exactly right. So you can see here that this is the Fed's balance sheet. When it's expanding, it means that we are in quantitative easing. When it's dropping, it means that we're in quantitative tightening. And so you can see here that since the last bear market, monetary policy has been quite restrictive. QT, as they call it. The best example of this is if we take a look at ETH against Bitcoin, and you can see I already have it pulled up here. ETH determines the rest of the crypto market globally in terms of its outperformance compared to Bitcoin. And so what you can see here is that right when we basically went into quantitative tightening, as per this chart, ETH continued over the course of this cycle to just underperform Bitcoin. And when ETH does this, well, overall, of course, there's some outperformers, but overall, the crypto market struggles. The broader crypto market struggles against Bitcoin, which coincides with Bitcoin dominance just skyrocketing from beginning of cycle to the end of the cycle. This just means Bitcoin outperforms everything else because there's none of that excess liquidity to speculate on altcoins. And some would argue we did have an altcoin season because of the crazy runs that we got on meme coins and things like that, right? So that's basically it. And we talked about this on the channel at length, but basically altcoins never stood a chance against Bitcoin overall. Are there some altcoins that outperformed in select periods of the market? Yeah, there were. Solana was one of them, did pretty well. But overall, we never really entered that phase where you could just chuck money at any altcoin and then it would just 10x. That crazy phase where, you know, Bitcoin dominance is just doing this, just a massive dump in Bitcoin dominance. So that's basically it. So from an investment standpoint, I was simply just waiting for, I was simply in Bitcoin. Had a little bit of ETH, sold some at all-time highs. Still hold like a little bit, but it's nothing significant compared to my broader portfolio. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, but there's no euphoria phase because of monetary policy. Also, if we take into account what happened with Pump Fund, the ability to launch a token at will, launch tokens at will, no dev experience required, it just flooded the market with tokens. Tonserve, just look at the Fed's balance sheet. Yeah, the market was way too saturated with a bunch of shit coins and stuff. 100%. Agreed. For fresh investment purpose, where should we start buying Bitcoin? As always, nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a random guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. Now that we got that out of the way, from my own personal perspective, I am looking at something like this, where I will slowly dollar cost average into Bitcoin if we are to make it sub $60,000. Keep in mind, this plan might not work for you because I already have Bitcoin exposure between $15,000 and $30,000 from the previous bear market. So what this means is I'm willing to be even more patient with some of my entries. We might not go below these levels, but it's where I would personally, based on my own strategy, start accumulating Bitcoin for the next big run. If you have no Bitcoin exposure whatsoever, it might make sense to be maybe a little bit more aggressive. Just my thoughts. No, it's not. Yeah, 6 minutes. 6 minutes until the candle close. For now, it looks okay. We're reclaiming the value area high thus far. But you have to be careful when you get aggressive moves down like this. Yes, we can get those bounces, but the moment that we see a bit of green, sometimes what happens is people just immediately pile into longs. And then that can get those longs flushed out quite quickly. Alejandro, what might more aggressive look like? Basically accumulating more sooner rather than waiting for lower targets. That's what I would classify as more aggressive. What is the music you're playing? Sorry guys, if you don't, I don't know if that's like a criticism of the music. It's just a non-copyright YouTube playlist thing for live streams. It's hard to find good music for the lives, guys. So I'll have to keep on looking into that. If we go up, I would first be targeting $77,600 because that's the low that we established on the weekend, which we broke through, back tested, got rejected. But as soon as it gets back above, call it 76,700, which is literally just a few $100s away, I'd probably move my stop to break even. How do you handle trading emotions and not panic closing position? If you guys heard me in the latest live stream, I talked about this, but it's just based on your capital size. If you're risking too much capital, you're simply not going to be able to handle your emotions because it means that you wouldn't be able to handle the loss. And you know the saying that I've always shared with people, if you cannot go to sleep at night with an active position open in the market, it simply means that you're risking too much capital. That is it. Guys, you're asking if I longed, but if you've been watching the stream, you know that I didn't. Yes, I am. Guys, that's the point. My next trade will likely be a long. I'm in my swing shorts and I continue to hold them, but my next trade will likely be a long. I'm on stream too much. You're making my wife jealous. Tell your wife I say hi. That's funny. Sayamori, please share it in the private group. Guys, if you're in the private group and you're watching the stream, you take priority. I will always let you know in the private group before I share it on the stream. Always, always, always. The private group is free, by the way, if you guys want to join, but I will always share it with the private group first. I just got on, bro. We can hear the desk tapping, by the way. My apologies. I didn't realize my mic caught that. Do, 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 do. Mm-mm. Chichan, that is crazy. That's crazy, Chichan. Telling people to short now, we're basically at support. That's crazy. How did you end up choosing crypto over other asset classes? Well, first and foremost, I got in the industry because I believed in Bitcoin in the long term. Second of all, I liked the appeal of making money quickly. Obviously, is what drags you in, but then afterwards, you learn that the hard way. And then I just stuck with it. There's something I'm sure you guys, if you guys are into the whole entrepreneurship scene, I'm sure you guys know Alex Hormozy, and one of his sayings is you have to do an unreasonable amount of volume, and that's essentially how you can guarantee your success. And what I mean by unreasonable amount of volume is years and years and years of just putting in the work where it's basically impossible for you to not succeed. And that's how I viewed it. I'm going to make this industry my own, and I'm going to make money whether the market goes up or down. And yeah, here I am. Lately, your live stream is at the same time with Andy's, and I want to watch both of you. Sorry, my man. I think we both just want to live stream when the market is open, right? For him, I know he's based in Europe, and so for him, it's more afternoon time. For me, I like to kick off the live stream around the US market open, which happens to be around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. When I'm in Dubai, it's much, much later. Um, so, yeah. I love that your assessments aren't overly technical. Yeah, that's the thing. I do my best to simplify the charts. There's a lot that goes into it, right? But I think that keeping things simple, and it's a good motto for life, keeping things simple is the way to go. Simple does not mean worse. Like sometimes as simple as price above line, good. Price below line, bad. And that's it. It's like, yeah. Did you lose all your gains in the first 1, 2 cycles? I lost, yeah, the first cycle I lost all my gains. The second cycle I really learned my lesson. Hey, Matt, for those who close the shorts, what would be a good potential area for entry on a bounce in your opinion? Oof, that's a tough question. I'm not looking for shorts here. I'm sorry, I can't give you a straight answer. If it helps you, the target for a potential long would be the weekend low, which is $77,600. This would be like a scalp. Not saying that you should reopen here, but what I am saying is this is the target for the long. Although I haven't entered yet. Um, Yo, let me rephrase my question. I know you have to be careful. Will you ever exit all your spot Bitcoin even if you feel like it's going lower? Will I ever exit all my spot Bitcoin? No. I don't know if I shared it on the channel. Did I? I definitely shared it in my group. Guys, I sold some more Bitcoin back above $80,000. I told you guys, I'm pretty sure that this is just a bear market relief rally. And therefore, in terms of managing my cash positions, I wanted to sell some more of my long-term Bitcoin stack. But in terms of in this lifetime, you will never catch me at a point in my life anymore where I don't hold at least a little bit of Bitcoin. Bull market, bear market, I have a long-term stack because I believe in the asset class long-term. That's it. And I try to take advantage of the market momentum to place trades, make those profits, and then accumulate at lower levels with that extra cash. But I also spread it out across other areas too. And guys, if you want access to my trades, how I'm operating on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis with my own capital, you have the first link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my trades, and it's free. As long as you're trading on any of the exchanges down below, you're good to go, and you can join my group. So make sure to sign up down below if that interests you. If you don't want to and you're getting good value out of the live stream, out of the free content on YouTube, then no worries. You don't need to join the group. Totally fine. Can you mark a scalp setup on Bitcoin? Sure. It looks something like this. It's like almost a 3 risk to reward, 3 to 1. But again, this local price action makes things sketchy for me. Not a fan. Chad Manley. All the exchanges that I trade on are in the description down below. Ubit, I don't have a link for them, and I don't trade on that exchange either. Guys, there's a gazillion different crypto exchanges, but I personally prefer Bluefin as my go-to. And I have other options for those of you that like to join the community. You have to sign up directly through that affiliate link on your channel. Exactly. So there's a lot of members that what they do is if you're already trading on one of these platforms and it's not under my affiliate link and you want access to the group, it really is as simple as making a new account, transferring your funds over, and then just making that your main account, and then you can join the group for free. Oof, we're getting a bounce. Shit. The trigger was there, but now we see. I didn't enter. Guys, I did not enter any trade here. I don't personally like Binance. They do some, I don't want to FUD, but let's just say they're not my favorites. Yeah, no, I don't trust them. But this would be the trade setup, guys. The stop would be below here. I'm not sure if any of you guys took it, or if you're just waiting to blindly copy me, because I know that some people do that. But we did sweep the wick. We swept the value area high. Not sure. I did not personally take this. Just being transparent here. I did not personally take this. Stupid question, bro. Are you... you are giving quite valuable info. info for us every day. Do you actually make money on YouTube? No, I don't make a single dollar on YouTube directly. As you can tell with my channel, I don't even have ads activated. And I feel like I could probably make a good amount. Like most videos get a few thousand views on YouTube on my channel. But no, I don't make money directly from YouTube. I make money, 90% of my money is made through trading. I make a little bit of money from affiliates down below. And that's that. Yeah, I don't even have ads activated. I'm personally in a scalp long. Me long. I took the long, but still need to be added. What do you do in the downtime to keep your mind off the charts? Oh, I do so much in a downtime to keep my mind off the charts. I play sports. I exercise. I spend time with friends and family. Yeah. Yeah, I am big enough to monetize. Let's take a look at the stock market. I was told that we're getting a little bit of a move up here. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. If it weren't for the stock market going up, I think that Bitcoin would already be lower. My thoughts, right? These are just my thoughts. But because the stock market is holding up relatively well, Bitcoin can hold up. But doing this for the love of the game, is definitely dope. Perms his hair. I promise, guys, I don't have a perm. I actually got accused of that. My mom has curly hair. That's where I get it from. Are you planning on shorting hype? I actually thought about shorting hype, but I just didn't see a lot of people had that same idea. So I decided against it, for now at least. Appreciate all you do, brother. Thank you, Claude Thibault. I appreciate it. Are you still looking to long, or we missed the entry? No, I'm still looking to long. I didn't enter, and there's a chance that price just goes up from here, right? But I didn't personally enter. You guys will know if I enter. I'll let you know. Still waiting. Bro, send it to 90s, please. Eesh. I think that the likelihood that we hit 90K has significantly reduced. But yeah, Dr. Sneaker Tech, doing this for the love of the game. I am doing it for the love of the game. I also am doing it just because I want to make a positive impact in the crypto space. When I first joined, I got absolutely torched. I got wrecked from some of these crypto content creators. And I think the industry could use just some better people. And I'm hoping to be one of those people. He's waiting for 77.6. No, I'm not necessarily waiting for 77.6 to go long. That was the initial one. I wanted a reclaim of this. Didn't enter because it looked relatively weak. Right now, the first levels of interest have been hit. However, if we start slowing down here, Ideally, we get a couple of wicks down, we chop a little bit, then I think I may consider the long. But for now, I'm sitting on my hands, and if we pump, so be it. But yeah. The value area high was drawn in this way. Let me zoom out. 4 hour. So you can see it's the volume profile. So I took it from the start of the range, and yeah, that's it. So you have the value area low, point of control, value area high. So strange. It's like Bitcoin's getting a little bit of relief, and then Zcash drops a little bit more. It's an interesting predicament to be in. I appreciate that. Crypto is so negative, and from following you, I've learned a lot. I don't trade, though. I just buy spot Bitcoin, waiting to buy more under 60K to unload the bag. That's fair. Jay Beers, yeah, man, loving the channel. Top 3 for me. Respect your opinion immensely. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the support. I really do appreciate it. Why do you believe Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle? Don't fade history is all I'll say. 60% down, 30% chance we hit 90K, but it's possible. Yeah, exceptionally skeptical. I agree with you in the sense of like, there's always probabilities that anything can happen. There's a chance that Bitcoin just skyrockets from here and we make all-time highs. But from a probabilistic perspective, I tend to defer to the 4-year cycle. Those who are not in any short, would you advise a short at 77,600? No, I would not advise, because I am not a financial advisor and I can't tell you what to do. I could just share what I am personally doing. And what I'm personally doing is I have 3 trades open. I have a Bitcoin short. I have a Zcash short. These are 2 swing trades. And I have a Bitcoin scalp short, which I've continuously taken profits from. So far, I've made around 18K on this one, and up around 14K. This was shared in my group and on one of my previous live streams from last week, where I just held the position. What percentage of your equity, what percentage of your account per trade? My personal rule has been 1 to 5% of my trading portfolio. 5% tends to be much higher conviction plays. Usually when I risk 3 to 5%, they're bigger trades, right? And then most trades are between 1 and 2%. I know some people only do 1 to 2%, but I'm comfortable taking on the risk of 1 to 5%. Matt, if I had been listening to you earlier in the crypto cycle of Moon Boys, I would be in a much better position. Thanks for the content. Lincoln Harris, I really do appreciate that comment. And that tells me that I'm doing a decent job at helping some people out. Unfortunately, it happens after the fact. Sometimes people get wrecked and then they come on the channel and they say, hey man, like, you know, one thing that brings joy to me, let's say, is if there's like a hater on the channel, which is fine. You know, some people don't like my content. That's okay. But if there's a hater on the channel and then they come back a couple weeks or months later saying, man, like it played out similar to how you said, sorry for the comments. And then they become like a true fan of the channel. That's really, really rewarding for me. No hate for anyone. I mean, some people express their opinions strongly, but you know, it should be strong opinions loosely held. All right, guys, so let's see how this price action develops. If you haven't already, legends, let's slap that like button. I think because I haven't taken a trade yet, the viewers are dropping, but I'm looking for one. If we get the opportunity to do it, I will do it. 321 likes, pretty solid, but let's smash it. Let's get this to some exceptional numbers. But see, like, I just... Don't fade history. No other comments. Yes, sir. For swing, do you go higher percentage of the account versus day scalp? Yes, but it has more to do with like conviction of trades. What about Tau? I'm not trading Tau right now. I think I gave a recap on Tau. I shorted Tau. It did really well. I made over 6 figures on that one. And then I moved my stop loss to break even, got wicked out, and then we moved lower. It happens. It happens. But I don't, there's unlimited opportunities in this market. You are not doing a decent job. You are doing a good job, man, to be fair. Thank you. Appreciate it. I want to pull the trigger. Give me another sweep. Will the market? The only thing here as well, and let me just remove this gray box because I'll put it back after the stream or maybe later, is like when you enter a zone like this and you just get rejected, it doesn't look too good. So like this, see this? This is an issue. This is an issue in my opinion, because every single pump seems to be getting retraced by what was previously holding as support. Look, it happened again here. And this is the sign of a clear downtrend, guys. Look. Drag it out. Where did Bitcoin get rejected from? Right here. Into it, rejected. Into it, rejected. Like this looks like it could easily create new lows. And that's why I have not entered a trade yet. It just doesn't look too pretty. Let's be honest with ourselves, guys. Stocks go down a little bit, Bitcoin goes down even more. Welcome to crypto, my friends. Zcash seems to do the opposite of the crypto market sometimes. Yeah, it's true. So keep your eyes on this. Structure is still bearish, locally. You must be one of the most sensible YouTubers in the market. Doing my best. Doing my best. What are we waiting to see here? We are waiting to see if we sweep the lows again and if we can maybe grab some more liquidity down to the bull market support band. 75.7 would be really nice. Anchored VWAP from the low would be even nicer, in my opinion. Like maybe we drop, create another range, drop, create another range. Wow, NASDAQ starts falling. Yeah, guys, if NASDAQ continues to fall, there's no chance for Bitcoin, hence my shorts. Let me know if you guys are currently holding shorts. Let me know if you're currently holding a short in the chat down below. Type 1 if you are holding shorts. Type 2 if you are holding longs. I'm not holding shorts, I'm wearing them. Hello, good peeps. We shorted Bitcoin on the last, like 2 streams ago. Or no, I think it was the last stream because on Friday, either the last stream or the stream before that. So this is what I'm saying, guys. On the 15-minute time frame, we just got to close back below the value area high. This is a sign of weakness. In my opinion, of course, this is a sign of weakness. So if we start getting closes back below, not pretty. But maybe this is the opportunity to long again. It's going to have to coincide with what's happening on the NASDAQ. Stocks lower. Yeah. Yeah. Structure locally at least. Sheesh. I just don't see a world where Bitcoin gets a significant bounce without stocks bouncing. Doesn't happen. At least in a bear market. Jeremy F6000. Message me again on Telegram and I'll get my team to look into it. As long as you're holding the minimum balance, you're totally fine. You should be fine. I'm not forcing anyone to trade. So if you were removed and you're holding the minimum balance, it might be a mistake. One, but I wish I had a bigger short. Don't we all? Saylor is buying. Is he? The engine is paused. He bought a lot last week. Stretch your income. This guy, this is what I'm saying with crypto guys, man. Like, give me a break. This guy has been bullish since like all-time highs. It's just frustrating, some of the things you get on feed. The House of Crypto, this guy has been very, very bullish, saying that, making fun of the 4-year cycle and stuff. Let's see how that plays out. I wonder what happens when the same crowd that front ran Saylor's buys every month starts front running his sells just as eagerly. So I think you guys know my base case, right? J Beers, market structure is number one, and then I have a couple of moving averages. I like looking at the volume profile, I like looking at the anchored VWAP. What's the market impact usually of whales buying spot? If whales are actually aggressively buying spot, it is one of the most positive things for the market. You don't want to see too many longs entering and stuff. You want to see real like spot demand. And this is one of the things that you have to understand. I'll look at Bitcoin on the Coinbase chart to paint a clear picture of what I've been discussing. It's super critical to understand that there is not much buying in terms of spot. This is the weekly chart, guys. Look, the more I zoom in, the more you'll realize that on this rally, it's just basics, right? We had a big capitulation dump. This is usually good for a reversal, but look at this volume. No one is really buying significantly. And so this leads me to believe that one, the low is not in, but two, there's just no proper interest. And yes, Saylor bought, but look at the Coinbase Premium Index. Look at this. How much worse can it get? Only time will tell, but every time, like this just seems like it wants to continue. Overall, it's not a pretty thing. Megatech, best content on the net, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. What do you think of Alex Becker? Don't get me started with Alex Becker. Guys, you have to understand that Alex Becker has made hundreds of millions of dollars with his other companies before, investing in crypto. He was already successful outside of the crypto industry. So does it really make sense to trust his calls when he found his success outside of the crypto industry first and foremost? Very smart guy, tons of success, right? But how many times can you call for altcoin season and people still believe you? He must have been at least 50 times. At least. He's toned down recently. But yeah. This price action makes me want to jump into a new short. but I won't because we're technically like hovering around support, and I'm already in shorts as discussed on the channel. But thanks for the inspiration, man. My pleasure. Ooh, boop 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 boop. 350 likes. Let's go, legends. Smash up that like button. If nothing really happens here, I'll probably stay on for another 30 minutes at least. At least. But right now, a pump, a dump back below the value area high, and a little bit of choppy price action around here. There isn't that much clarity on this move because this could easily just roll over, right? Especially with how the stock market's looking. Who is buying so much? What do you mean, who is buying? Does this look like... Saylor has bought... Oh, yeah, you're right. Where can I check? It was this one. Saylor is buying. Current yield 13%. He bought 40 Bitcoins today. How much does liquidity affect your trades? I would say that liquidity accounts for... It really depends, because in trending environments, it's not the most important thing, but it's a good confluence, right? I like to look at the liquidity, particularly if I'm looking for a short and everyone is going long. I really, really like that. Like, I love to see that there's tons of longs in the market and I'm eyeing a short. But it's not the be-all, end-all. The market structure always comes first. Listening to you on my Dutch commute as home. Thanks for all the insights. Awesome. Happy to have helped you out. Happy that you're listening to me on your commute. Looks like Saylor has bought Bitcoin with all the raised money and will have to sell this and next month end to pay off the dividend. I don't know. Let's see. They've already kind of... what's the expression? They've... for lack of a better term or way of saying it, they've opened the gates. They've opened that possibility after telling everyone that they'd be willing to sell some Bitcoin. If you have to enter a short where you think place to trade, I wouldn't enter a short. Sorry, guys. You're asking me about shorting here at potential support. Couldn't be me. I'm shorting. I'm in a short from higher. But that's the thing. It's very tricky because I'm also not a financial advisor, as I've constantly said, guys. So I share with you my trades, and Yep. I'm fairly novice, but I'd like to make trading content around Bitcoin, live streams, and breakdowns. Think it's possible or need to be an expert? I do think it's possible. Um, Honestly, I would encourage you to create content if you find interest in doing so. Like, the thing is that a lot of people don't understand with creating content is that it just takes a long time for things to pick up, and it takes a lot of consistency. And most people will just give up before they actually get some kind of decent exposure. So, I think the way it works is it's like these exponential returns, right? And I posted probably, man, 150 videos before I got my first like 2,000 subscribers, 3,000 subscribers. Now I've posted double that, but I'm almost at 20K. So in my opinion, you have to put out the amount of volume that's required, and then you have to let the market decide whether or not you're suited in the space. So what this means is you let the people decide. It's the people at the end of the day. If I posted content for 3 years and I didn't get anyone watching me, it would essentially just tell me that maybe I should pivot to something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to put out enough volume to really be able to know. You have to have that consistency. So if you're willing to be consistent with producing content and you have a passion for trading, technical analysis, go for it, man. Go for it. Hey, I already answered the question about how much I consider liquidity. Hi, I'm holding a short Bitcoin 4-hour time frame. What do you think about that, and what's your opinion? I don't know your entry. That's not enough detail. Thank you so much for that. Of course, man. Of course. Shador, if you go back in the live stream, guys, please ask questions that make sense. When you say you're holding, Shador, not you, the guy, not Ayan, I am holding short on Bitcoin 4-hour time frame. What do you think about that, and what's your opinion? What does that even mean? Like, you're holding a short from where? I can't give you an opinion on a short if I don't know what the entry is, what your target is, or you just randomly open a short. Shador, around what number do you think the bottom is in? So I would ask you to rewind the stream a little bit where I talked about my potential bear market targets for Bitcoin. These are higher time frame things. WIWDFL. I already answered your question, my friend. There's a lot of liquidity to the upside. How much do you consider this? I consider it, but it's not the be-all, end-all to my trading. So it has some impact, and that's why I'm also considering a potential bounce from here. But we don't have to grab the liquidity to go lower. I think you get a bunch of people that don't speak English because of your algorithm from posting from Dubai. Well, actually, Crypto King, yes and no, because I'm technically not in Dubai right now. I plan to go back, though, relatively soon. Okay, so your entry is from 77,000. That's a crazy 77,000 targeting 52,000. I can't really give an opinion on that because that's a massive expectation of drawdown. Usually what happens with my swing shorts, right, is I'll enter and I'll take profits on the way down, And although in the back of my mind, I do understand the possibility of us moving lower, it's not like I don't touch my trade whatsoever. Like, let's say if Bitcoin were to drop that amount, which is, well over $20,000, $25,000 drop you're hoping for, I definitely wouldn't be holding my entire position on the way down, if that makes sense. You have to have lower targets and then gradually take profits on the way down. That's at least what I personally do. To each their own, but I like if I was in a short and the price has dropped by $10,000, my stop loss would immediately go to break even at the bare minimum. I'd be adjusting my trade. I would have taken some profits, but maybe I would keep like at most 50% of the position open, maybe 40%, right? Kaveh, you got to start learning how to read people's minds. Bro, unacceptable that you can't. I'm so sorry, my man. I'll do my best next time around. But if you research how algorithms work, you would see that it takes quite a while to change where the views come from. Yeah, that's true. Wouldn't be nice to see a green day so that the RSI can have some relief? I mean, if we keep falling, we'll reach under 30K, but won't reach under 30, but we won't reach 60. Yeah. I think we might sweep the lows, to be honest, based on what I'm seeing here structurally. And it's overly simplistic again, but guys, support, touching it again. Support is clearly getting weaker on these taps. Support. And we're finally through. Support. Big move to the upside. And we're finally through. Now we're essentially, this move to the upside, back testing the local support. Now we're back testing this previous support. So from what I'm seeing here, it's probable that we can sweep these lows. Hope that makes sense. Just probabilities, but if you look at how the structure is unfolding before us, you can see that. I don't think the daily candle will close green. Yeah. If that's what you're asking about, I don't think that will be the case. 4 hours still looks ugly. What do you think about the CME gap between 78.5 and 79K on Bitcoin? What I will say is it's probable that it gets filled at some point. We know that the probabilities favor the CME gaps getting filled. Any opinion on Crypto Jeb? I don't really know who that is, to be honest. So no opinion. As I said, guys, if you're going to ask me about other creators, I only know like a handful of them, and I really don't pay attention to anyone else's opinion except for my own. And honestly, that's what I would recommend for all of you. You get to the point where you have your views of the market, you trade the probabilities, and you don't let anyone else impact your decision making. Are you still holding your Tau short, and when do you plan on closing it? Price range? G7 Films, unfortunately, my man, well, not unfortunately, I made 150K on my Tau short. Happy about that. However, I moved my stop loss to break even, and on the move back up, that got stopped out. So I'm no longer in my Tau trade. And if you're in my premium group, you would have known this as well. All the trades that I'm currently in right now, Bitcoin short, I'm in a Zcash short, I'm in a Bitcoin scalp short as well. So I have some swings and scalps in this market, potentially looking for a long. But guys, if you want to know when's the next time I take a trade, when I decide to go long, if it doesn't end up being on this stream for whatever reason, you have the first link in my description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you're able to join my private group. It's completely free because you're trading with your own capital. Some people trade with $500, some people trade with 10,000, 100,000, a million. Everyone has their own capital size. But as long as you've signed up with any of these links down below to any of these exchanges that I am currently using, you get access to that group and you can essentially trade on there. PA Motorsports, that's shared within my premium group. I go to your channel through Altcoin Daily a couple weeks ago. Awesome. Yeah, I had a collaboration with Altcoin Daily, and I actually got some hate for that because naturally their channel is called Altcoin Daily, and then I came on the channel and basically said, I don't think that altcoins will perform well. And that's not probably what you want to hear from a channel if you're following a big channel like Altcoin Daily. I think market makers are going to pump on Wednesday using from pro-Trump puppet. What do you think, CBM? I don't have an opinion on these kinds of things. I just look at the local price action, right? And I trade the market structure. I don't speculate on what Trump can and can't say on these kinds of things. The only reason in my videos that I even mention what's been going on between Iran and the US is simply because I know that some of you want that update. But as far as how it impacts my trades, especially from a swing trading perspective, it doesn't. Do you think we still have a chance for a swing short on Bitcoin? Any scenarios? Yeah, absolutely, man. We don't just go down in a straight line. If we are to move lower, there's even a chance that we get another pop up. Remember what I discussed at the beginning of the live stream. I don't know if you guys have been tuning in, but in previous bear markets, what can happen is Bitcoin gets rejected right before its 200-day moving average, finds support at its bull market support band, and then we get a significant pump. Like sometimes it even creates a higher high. Sometimes we would hold support and we create a higher high, sweeping up this liquidity, and then we drop even further. I know it sounds crazy, but just look at the historical price action and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes though, we drop lower, we create a lower high, and then we move lower. So it's all about probabilities, right? More locally, I am looking for long. I'm holding my swing shorts, and that's that. But there will be another, in my opinion at least. What's your opinion about people who keep saying that Bitcoin will go up because of the liquidity? My opinion is that they're wrong, and it's much more complex than that. What's on the gym menu today? It might actually be some chest and shoulders. Really looking forward to that. Holding locally here. But keep your eyes on this zone. You wanna see us at the bare minimum start flipping this zone as support. Otherwise, it could just be another move to the downside for Bitcoin. So the scenarios are or this is basically what I'm looking for. And right now it looks like the first path is highest probability. Daily Clash. If you take a look at my YouTube channel, it says CBM Matsier. So it's the second one. That's how my name is written. Yeah, man. Chest and shoulders is just great. Have you tried pitchfork trading? Nope. And the reason I haven't tried pitchfork trading is simply because I don't need to. I got a question about another form of trading the other day, and my answer was along the lines of the same. If you find a strategy that works for you, why would you overcomplicate it and start looking at other things? I don't need extra extra I don't want to call it nonsense, but extra material to analyze if what I'm doing is already currently working for me, right? But I do know some people that do pitchfork trading and they have some pretty solid success. Any strategy can work, guys. Any strategy can work. I usually make money on FOMC minutes. I think this one's going to be huge. But usually it's just a recap of FOMC, right? So I'm kind of just yeah, like last time I made a big deal about FOMC minutes, and then it was just basically we chopped within a 5 minute range. Can you pronounce your name again? Matsier. I'm French Canadian. Yeah, keeping it simple. Exactly. Guys, if you find a strategy that already works for you in this market, you don't need to overcomplicate things. You don't need to analyze the charts in 100 different ways if you've already found something that works for you. Try push, pull, leg. That's what I do. Already a supporter. Been here 10 minutes. My man. What is your opinion of prop firms, bro? Hold that question because I may actually be working on a partnership with a prop firm to offer it to you guys, because I know that some of you would much rather spend, say, $500 or $1,000 on potentially being able to trade with $100,000 than simply using that money to build it up. So, yeah. Matsier. Amar, it's Matsier. Tsier. Push pull is too much for me. I like more isolated. Yeah, that's fair. Saylor is buying like crazy. Is he? I mean, guys, he's trying. He bought like 50 Bitcoins. He has way more leeway with his stretch product. Guys, like he was buying thousands of Bitcoins per day, not 50. 50. If this did not manage to give us a sustained pump, I highly doubt that this will. Unless he can find a way to engineer another kind of financial Ponzi to be able to give him excess liquidity to buy more Bitcoin. May I ask what you did in bachelor's degree? I honestly think that my degree was relatively pointless. I had a great time with friends, and that's what I think that it should be. Like, unless you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or these kinds of things, sometimes, or at this point, I would say that school isn't necessarily required, let's just say. And I can't say that I applied anything I learned to my real life because I was already doing quite decent before university. What's the coolest gym you've ever been to? Actually, it's Will Anderson. I have a gym in Dubai that I go to. Oh man, it's just great, my man. Like they have, obviously they have the ice baths, the saunas, different types of saunas. They have the massage chairs. They have a cafe with tons of food, drinks, to be able to work while you're not working out. And that's just like on one floor. And then the other floor, you have an outdoor full workout section where they have a gazillion different classes like CrossFit, regular weightlifting classes, high rocks, these kinds of things. And then there's a whole indoor section where, even in the indoor section, you can do like, there's enough room for sled pulls and all of these things. All the equipment is like brand spanking new. And there's some of the biggest guys, biggest fitness guys that go there too at my gym in Dubai too. Like, I don't know if you guys know who Mike Thurston is, but I've seen that guy at my gym as well. Huge lad. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so interesting close on the 1 hour, a bit of indecisiveness, but still the bottom could potentially be in. You really want to see us flip this support zone and turn it back into support. Otherwise, we reject from here. How much a month? It's expensive. It's quite expensive. But it's totally worth it. Like if there's anything that I don't cheap out on, it's health and wellness. I think they're great investments. Yeah. Starting a business is the way to go. Yeah. I started a business literally it started when I was like 12, 13 years old with social media marketing. Can you please answer my question? I hope you answer my question. Um, yeah, but mine also has a football pitch, and there's different locations. There's a football pitch. I think on one of the locations, which I don't always go to, there's a full size Olympic swimming pool as well, of course. Some have tennis courts. Like it's like a proper club. Um, Sounds amazing. Probably a lot of baddies there. I am in a relationship. Um, I'll leave it at that. Don't believe the dump. All of this is orchestrated to build exit upside liquidity for a later face melting rally. Gerard Soriano, thank you. You're the main guy. You're the main guy here that's been bullish. Everyone else, I think, is bearish for the most part. I've been looking for longs here, but I think a lot of people are bearish, and it makes maybe for a potential short squeeze. We have a Canadian Warren Buffett. Far from it, my man. Far from it. Have you used a trading log so you could back check what worked? What's your opinion on this? Yep, I did this in the early days, but I no longer do that. It works. It works. I think that what's really good outside of your your actual trades that you took, I like being able to go back and see how I was doing emotionally at the time. So you always want to write notes about how emotional you were entering the trade on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you excited? Are you depressed? Are you outside of trading, right? And this can impact the decisions that you make. And therefore, you can also have a trigger that tells you, well, because I'm feeling this way, I will simply not take a trade. It takes discipline, but it's very interesting to document these kinds of things. Your skin is radiant. Thank you. I do have a studio light flashing on me, so maybe that helps. But I appreciate it. It's my girlfriend's skincare routine. How are the other markets doing? Well, the stock market had a bit of a drop. NASDAQ trying to hold up here. Maybe this is a pivot to send us higher. Stock market, again, like we're leaving wicks to the downside, which to me suggests that maybe we have that another little push higher, which could support Bitcoin, of course. But as soon as stocks actually dump properly, we are going lower, in my opinion. Okay, the guy that said he bought, there's a guy in this chat that said he bought 3 Bitcoins at $81,000. Should he sell, or should he sell because it will go lower, or what? I have to say that first and foremost, I cannot give you financial advice. I have been saying that I think that the low for Bitcoin is not in for this bear market. I've been quite vocal about this. I think that maybe we can squeeze higher, of course, in the lower time frames, but my own opinion is that the low for Bitcoin is not in. I hold Bitcoin from lower levels, and therefore my strategy may differ from yours in the market, but I don't think that the low is in personally. So make of that information what you will. Mohammed Khalaf, my man, I can't tell you. It's all about probabilities, right? I can't say anyone that says Bitcoin will with certainty do this, Bitcoin will with certainty do that, is full of shit. I have strong opinions, but they are loosely held if the market structure changes. And that's it. So I'll tell you what I think can happen in the market. But I can't say what will undoubtedly 100% happen, because no one has a crystal ball. And if I did have a crystal ball, I would be a trillionaire. We have made it to over 3 hours on the live stream, legends. Let's see how we're doing in terms of likes. 387 likes. Guys, we can get this up to 400 likes. I know you can. Destroy that like button. Let's get this up to 400 likes minimum. Do you guys want me to extend the live stream a little bit? What are we thinking? Because I'm not entering a trade, and as I said, guys, I'm waiting for some kind of momentum here to justify entering a trade. We swept the level initially, but with how we're kind of slowly grinding higher, I don't like this personally. Can we just pump up? Yeah, we can, but I'm still kind of just waiting around here. Come on, guys, let's move the market up. Yuri, guys, let's move the market up. Ever look at CVD, open interest, or liquidations? Always, always. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the positive comments. You guys are awesome. Have you had to change your strategy over the years because of market changes? I have to say, like, I've been trading since 2017, crypto in particular, and the only thing that has changed from a strategy perspective was maybe from a spot portfolio perspective. Anticipating that altcoins would greatly underperform Bitcoin over the course of the last bull market was one of the best things that I could have done, because as everyone was worrying and speculating about what altcoin will do this and that, I was like 99% Bitcoin basically for most of the bull market, which was a great position to be in because it gave me the upside and minimized my downside risk. So that's from a spot portfolio trading perspective. Of course, I had a little bit of cash to speculate on shit coins here and there, but guys, when I tell you it was the tiniest portion of my spot portfolio, I really do mean it. So spot portfolio and the changes of altcoin season, that has adjusted my trading strategy a little bit. Swing trading, not so much, because we're still following, traditional market structure. It's almost scary how similar the price action develops compared to the previous cycles. At one point, it will break. Maybe this is the time that it breaks, but so far, nothing has led me to believe that it would break. So that's that. Now having a good day. All right, go for another 15. Sounds good. Do you make your first million from crypto, or was it spot trading or future? That's a good question. It was actually a mix of the two. Buying Bitcoin relatively early, and then trading. I would say it's the combination of both. My guy, one day volumes are getting smaller, meaning the trend is finishing its job, meaning maybe a little pump then dump. If the dump gets the new volume trend, it's confirmation that your theory is right. Yep. Let's see how it plays out. Alt's fully out, open wound bleeding against Bitcoin now. ETH going to be under 2K soon. Highly likely, if Bitcoin continues to dump, that ETH will go under $2,000 soon. What does your crystal ball say about stocks? My crystal ball, unfortunately, does not work on the stock market, guys. As I said, so my prediction for the stock market was actually that we would get a correction. And it was, if you recall correctly, it was around here. When stocks start doing this, and we're just slowly making all-time highs, just very, very, very slowly, this is a sign that the momentum was fading. And I was calling for a move down. However, calling for an explosive move back up, not me. Because I said, as soon as that dump happened, I said, guys, I don't think I'm going to be calling for any lower on stocks, simply because the stock market, as we know, just trends up over time, and these big dips can get bought up easily. And stocks can continue to climb higher as Bitcoin struggles. So now, if we get another scenario here where stocks just kind of chop, and we make slower and slow, like less and less significant all-time highs, then perhaps that could mean another correction. And this would coincide with Bitcoin dropping lower. But for now, like I said, I'm not in the business of calling for stock market tops. That is not me. I hold some stocks, though, for the long term. $406 likes, legends. Let's smash it up. Well done. Well done. One moment. Let me see. Hi, Matt. Just joined your group, deposited 500 to Blofin, and didn't get the bonus. Why is that? One moment. Let me see why that could be. And maybe I need to run a new campaign for all of you guys. Terms and conditions. This could be it, guys. My apologies if that's the case. The registration rewards are limited to the first 50 newly registered users. So there's a chance that yesterday, because this promotion didn't start too long ago, but there's a chance that there's already been over 50 people that have signed up. This is why when I share these bonuses, guys, we have to be quick with signing up and getting the bonuses, because they can expire pretty fast. I'll make sure to set up another campaign with Bluffin. But guys, if you're already trading with me and you're trading with a significant amount of capital, I can, regardless of this campaign, I can get you significantly reduced fees on Bluffin as well for the big traders out there, if that interests you. What's the bonus if I deposit 10K into Bluffin? Well, you get added to my priority folder on Telegram. That's one thing. You would be getting $1,000 in futures bonus if you deposit 10K. That's basically how it works. We also have weeks as an option for those of you that are interested. Let's see now. Bitcoin is kind of moving up here. Hello from Leon. No, you didn't mess anything up. I think I'm going to switch from 2-bit to Bluffin. Everyone's on Bluffin. Yeah, man, I prefer Bluffin. Honestly, just use that link in the description down below, and I prefer Bluffin, but I still use 2-bit as well. 2-bit weeks, all of them. We're retesting. Can we move higher? Yeah, it's possible we move higher. You're asking me, can we move higher? The answer is yes, we can move higher. I think I'm already in there because I did it with BTCC. Yeah, that's fine, man. Look, the thing with the platform is make sure it's a platform that you're actively trading on. People that make the minimum deposit and then just trade elsewhere, I end up kicking them out of the group, or I get my team to do that at this point in time. So, look, I would highly recommend you choose an exchange that you know you'll trade on, and then you can stay in the group and just continue to get access to my insights for free. Hello from Lyon, France. Sick. Hello. Guys, it looks okay here. It looks okay here. But we're approaching this higher, like this resistance here. Oh, nice, man. So you entered a long at 76,050. Nice one. Did you actually? You sniped it. Nice one, man. Can you enter a Bitcoin long while in a Bitcoin short? Does Bluffin have that option? Absolutely it does. Of course it does. Any exchange worth its salt has that option. So what you can do here is if you go on your Bluffin account and you go to settings, here at the top it says one-way mode. That's the current configuration of my account. There's something called hedge mode. You click this, and then you're able to go long and short on Bitcoin at the same time if you wanted to. And some of you are asking me, why does that even make sense? Why on earth would you go long and short at the same time? And it's very simple. If you're shorting Bitcoin, let's say you shorted Bitcoin up here, and you caught a nice move to the downside, but you're still expecting lower. But you're also well aware that this could be a local zone to bounce from. Well, you can make some profits on the long on the way up, take this long while you're shorting Bitcoin, and then you made some profits on the way up as you're holding your short, and then if Bitcoin rejects even further here, well, it's a double whammy in terms of the money that you could be making. I would say hedge mode for the most part would be for more experienced traders, but I have personally done this. A lot of the times though, the only thing that's a little bit annoying is you have to make sure that this is configured before you actually take any trades on the account, like before you're in any active trades, I mean, because otherwise the only way to activate it is if you close your positions. And I don't want to do that currently. So I have my weeks account open as well, where I can do this as well. Or you can also open a sub account on Bluffin. So I hope that explains it well. Do I need to use a VPN on Bluffin or do I have to KYC? I don't know, man. I don't know where you're located. I can't really give advice to use a VPN. I personally don't use a VPN. And no, you don't have to KYC. KYC, a lot of people think KYC is the worst in the world, but in my opinion, KYC is good if you're a pretty big trader. I like to do KYC, to be honest. Some people don't, but you can pick and choose. Bluffin doesn't require KYC. Sweet, thanks, man. No problem, guys. No problem. You also long that 79,000. Sweet. Now we see we're not seeing much volume as Metal Helion Zumi pointed out. Zombie. If you can't use Bluffin, we have other options in the description down below. Feel free to explore those. I know that some people use VPNs, but I'm not advocating for it. Hello from Paris, France. Yusuf Gio, my man. How are you doing? Ça va bien? Get off Coinbase, Mavs Hawk. Come on, man. Get off Coinbase. Their fees are ludicrous. You have options in the description down below, regardless of where you're located. Not a Coinbase fan, really. Speaking of Coinbase, guys, like lambs, like sheep at the slaughterhouse. They post this on May 15th. You better hold in line with Drake's album. And I said, thank you for the financial advice. And naturally, what happens after May 15th? Oh, I don't know. Let me see. May 15th. Where is that? Oh, as we zoom out a little bit more, May 15th. Oh, perfect. They post that right at the local tops. Yeah, thank you, Coinbase. Really do appreciate it. Same playbook every time. Weeks works as well. Yeah, I like Weeks. Coinbase fees are insane, absurd. What's Saylor looking like now? He's up 1% on his total Bitcoin portfolio. Baffling to me, baffling. Did you long in the end? Nope. I did not pull the trigger, guys, but it's because I'm not liking the way that this is setting up, to be honest. Do Coinbase own CoinMarketCap? Actually, I think Binance might own CoinMarketCap. I think they acquired them. Pretty sure. Yeah, Semi, I don't believe, like, Raul Paul, I know he has a very, very long-term view, but I have to be honest, guys, like, how long can you wait for something to play out? Yeah, you might as well just make money with the price movements and take advantage of the runs when they do come. Man, it takes a lot for you to enter a trade. If you don't enter along here, where will you enter? So I explained at the beginning of the stream, we did sweep 2 of the 3 levels that I highlighted. The value area high, which is a crucial one, and the previous wick that sent Bitcoin down to $65,000. So we did get those levels, but we're seeing this kind of structure play out where we create these lows and we tap into it multiple times before breaking further. This time we did the same thing and we made it back up to these lows, rejected, and now I'm wondering if what we're seeing here is the same scenario or if Bitcoin can actually break through here as people start to consider longs. Because remember, there is still a portion of the market that is very bullish. And so to me, I would have preferred to get down to this bull market support band below $76,000. And best case scenario would have been the anchored VWAP, which I took from the pivot low at around 65K, right down here. No, I'm not a huge MicroStrategy fan. Mavs Hawk, in that case, I think that Weeks would work for you. I have seen a lot of people transfer from Coinbase to Weeks as well. So that's this link in the description down below. You should be getting a good percentage off your fees, 25%, with my link down below. And you get access to my group if you're not already in there. Actually, I'm not sure if you're already in there, but yeah. Costa 506. What if the price never makes it there and just shoots up? You miss a great long. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this is the issue with most people. Most people are like devastated if they miss a potential trade opportunity. Guys, there's unlimited opportunities in the market. I have missed tons of opportunities. I will miss tons of opportunities again. But I will also take advantage of the unlimited opportunities that we have. I don't care. Like, sorry for saying it in such a simple way, but I honestly don't care. I don't know what else to say. Am I the only one who sees the 1 hour bullish diversions? I'm a VIP4, so I'm just a little guy, but I'm doing okay. Yeah, the ETF outflows have continued, and you want to see them buy. You also want to see the Coinbase Premium Index start turning green for some momentum to the upside, guys. So here's the summary, legends. I am in swing short trades, which I've shared in my community. I'm also in a scalp short trade on Bitcoin, which I've shared in my community and on the live stream last week, still holding this exact same trade. Today I was looking for a long, but I'm a little bit concerned with the price action because we're essentially getting a bounce into potential into potential resistance as resistance turns into as support turns into resistance. If we can reclaim here, I would say that Bitcoin has a strong chance of making it back up to 77.5, which is important because it ties into that weekend low. But until then, flipping this level, I still think that there's a probability that we can come back down. So let's see how the price action develops. It's all about probabilities. We did sweep 2 of the levels that I highlighted on the stream. Some of you took the long, some of you are in that position right now. I didn't personally pull the trigger on it. And as always, if I decide to take new trades from now until the next live stream, which I tend to do, you'll know if you're in my community. It's completely free. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join my private group. It's where I share all of my own personal trades. It's free because you're trading with your own capital, and you can use any of these links down below to be able to sign up. So if you enjoyed the stream, guys, as always, destroy that like button, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell to not miss out on any new updates. I hope you all have a lovely Monday, and I will see you in the next video.